ask you, when you're about to see a lecture, when we begin the path, sometimes we do not know, for the path is windy, and we do not see the bends or the end. But as we travel the path, it becomes straight and narrow until we reach our goal. Sit back and intensify now your attention, concentration, observation into a meditative state, and open your contemplative and superconscious natures to absorb blessings.
Series of opening the rainbow eye, the mystic's use of light. This class is on the path to light. The meditation on the board: give to your life purpose and make this purpose your goal. Then do all within your being to eliminate the irrelevant, other points of view, side steps, and seek oneness with God and masters of the path. We're tuning in this energy this evening to a movement of consciousness. And what it takes is for your awareness to stop the attention on the outside world, worries and problems of whether or not you have enough objects. You see, that's what preoccupies most people. They have dollar bill objects, house objects, objects of people, objects of things, all these different, we have enough of these objects. And this is the objective mind that worries about this. The objective mind is that calculative thinking, reason and logic, descriptive orientated, word-orientated consciousness that deals with things, and realize that everything in this thinking mind is past orientated. If you're thinking, whatever's in this mind is past orientated. And so this awareness, we are trained in our Western society to be more conscious. And so this mind is an outer orientated mind. And even our language, our English language is biased to this mind field. And we're tuning this evening to a switch in polarities, and tuning in this course to change over this mind field, this consciousness, rather than thinking linear, words, objects, things, past orientation, likes and dislikes, comparisons, assumptions, conclusions, that mind, to a reverse polarity mind. And this mind thinks in light, thinks in impression. It works in a contemplative awareness. It does not deal with objects. It deals with concepts. It deals with ideas. It deals with impressions. It deals with sensitivity. And it deals with experiences. And so it is always in the presence. And so is in a no time, no space awareness. Whereas this thinking, calculating, descriptive mind is in time and space. That's why it has desire in it. Because there are things out of it, anything out of its time and space and presence is not there, and so it desires that, waits for its coming. Where this other mind is always in the presence of everything. Always in a completeness. Always in a wholeness, a becomingness. It is always in a state of presence. It is just a continual moving of expression. And it isn't working in forms, because all forms are limitations. So we're seeking to make the shift in consciousness. And how you make the shift is simply to pay attention to that awareness. Because attention's energy. Energy's your life. Where your attention's paid, there you are. How you pay your attention is the key. And we're looking in this path to light at one of the most basic and primary concepts of any teaching, path, or way, and that is where your attention is upon. how your attention's paid, and the responses in your consciousness when you pay attention to something. Realize that you have accumulated patterns of responses to things, to outer stimuli, to objects and situations coming to you. And these you acquired, and especially in the first years of your life when you were very open, before you had a chance to make the defenses up in your consciousness. Because as you get older, after this openness, you receive hits from people like non-acceptance and things, so you close off. See, first you walk really open, and somebody's tricked you, and you go, wow, somebody tricked you, like you're a little kid, and your brother says, come over here and feel this, and you walk over, and the lawnmower's idling, and lets you touch the spark plug, and you go, wow, gee, First you're an open little kid, and you like your brother, and he tricks you. And so all these kinds of things people have done to you, situations that have taken away your openness. So before you had the openness, you received and were forming these movements in consciousness that are now become ingrained in your awareness. And the consciousness, the attention that was at first conscious doing the habit, the eating, putting your pants on, tying that first shoelace, it was real conscious at first. Now with the pattern can go off without consciousness. And these are the conditioned reaction habit patterns that either free you or bind you. They bind you if they go off without your choice. They free you because it doesn't take all the attention to tie your shoes now. You just tie it real quick, tie it in the dark. See, because it frees you because you've already put consciousness in there. Now it just plays back. And what happens to take a person off the so-called path is that life gets to be a series of these discs, these patterns, these habit patterns, which is you know what a habit pattern is? See, it's a habit. See, it's a grave with the ends knocked out. So you're just in this rut, the rut of life. And you wonder, how do you get out of that? Well, what happens then is the more these things are shut off, the more the objective conceptual awareness, and then there's all that seems to be real is the outer object, and then you don't have things, so you have jealousy, anger, hate, all this stuff comes up, frustration. Who am I? What am I? Reason to be. And so here you have the state of consciousness that you arrive at. Then you go, okay, how do I get out of this? Well, before you can get out of that, you have to realize that it's perfect how you got there, because it is a universal tool of consciousness to bring you to that point. And it is a natural part of the path to fall into this, for many beings, to fall into this outer world consciousness, to get grounded here, so to speak, because it's this outer, I'm this body, I need this is mind consciousness that makes you solid. Because if you never start grasping, you never come into to know solidity, and the solidity is of your sense of individuality. So that's mine, all that kind of stuff, holding on to things, all centers you, stabilizes you, makes your I, which is really, when you look at it in this higher sense, it's quite nebulous what it is. You see, it stabilizes at some point where there's an I. Now we're talking about on this path, the spiritual path, now that the I is centered, now that this I is stabilized, now that there is some point of awareness of what an I is, to free this I. That this I is not a body, not a bunch of emotions and desires, not a bunch of thoughts, but this I is a freed I. It's you have this freedom. So we're attuning your consciousness to look in this way of awakening to the highest degree possible your sense of watchfulness. Watchfulness. And it's this watchfulness that frees you of all unconscious things. And watchfulness comes when you step out of this conceptual objective mind by taking interest in yourself, life, and the mysteries that surround you. So you can be reading spiritual books. You can have the attention of this mental inquisitiveness, but it takes a step out of inquisitiveness, which is a yellow ray, to be interested. And that's the point where you come. That's the point where you're all at to be in this class. You're beyond just inquisitive. You're interested in yourself, in life, in the mysteries. And at that point, you have made the shift in mind. You are moving out of this fixed, limited awareness, and now moving into, well, what is really here beyond my preconceived concepts? Because this right brain of descriptive mental awareness types labels on things. And here's what happens. And this is what blocks an experience, a deeper experience. You experience something, and you're given a word for it. Okay, that's the table. So the next time you see that presence, as soon as your mind, if it's objective mind is there, it says table. And as soon as you have table, then with the word table has associations, and then the past associations with the word give you the experience of it, rather than what it really is in time, space, and reality. And it's this part of your mind, that the labeling part of your mind, that steals from you your ability to experience the reality of anything. Now, with this interest, you are looking at everything like you have never seen it before. It's the first time that you see whatever you're seeing. And this doesn't have any labels on it, like when you're going to Europe the first time, you fly in and you arrive in Amsterdam or touch down in London, and you're peering out the window. You've never been there before. You heard these things, but you're looking to see what's really there. And the first time you land in Zurich, Switzerland, went to Switzerland, first time, and it's the first time, so you haven't seen the airport before, the people before, and this wide-eyed openness, because you haven't made any conclusions, assumptions, comparisons, unless you already did, but most people, something new. You're just there and you're taking it all in. And you have experiences, and those experiences start to color your associations with that country. Then after the trip, somebody says, "You've been to Switzerland?" "Oh, yeah, I've been there." Got the label Switzerland, I know what it's all about. See, that's the thinking mind. And it's got all the labels again. So we're awakening this serious interest in things, this openness that it's a higher type of questioning. It's not the questioning of the emotional body that says, "Why is this? Why is that?" Not the why cry of emotional energy, which cries out for its lacks and those things, but this earnest inquiry of interest in who am I, what is surrounding me, this reality of life, and what is this about? This earnest questioning that's extremely powerful. The earnest inquiry. This earnest inquiry is the second of 3 steps. And the first step is reverent submission. Because without your reverence, you can learn nothing. The reverence is this higher mind. The thinking mind is very rarely reverent. That objective, descriptive, object-oriented, outer-oriented mind is very rarely reverent, because one of its strong waves is sarcasm and comparison and making light. You see, because it's more attuned with bringing attention to the ego of the individual, rather than a serious inquiry of energy for the self. It takes the master using the mind to put it to good use. And that's why you have to operate the first three centers from a master higher self with purpose and direction, because their natures aren't attuned to reverence. So it's first is reverent submission. Submission means surrendering your positions, judgments, conclusions, comparisons, labelings, words, preconceived ideas, prejudices about anything. You have to surrender all that, because it's all a limitation. And what you know about somebody is just the slightest tip of the iceberg of their true being. See? So the reverent submission. Then the earnest inquiry, which is that clear, crystal, open, wide-eyed interest. And then service. Reverent submission, earnest inquiry, and service. And what the service is this not only interest, but willingness to participate in life. Because without the willingness to be here, which is the service of your presence, then there are many, many mysteries that are kept from you. Because it's your active participation in not only your physical body, not only with people, but with every other level of your consciousness that you come to find out about what life is. Life is an experience, and experiences are series of situations in environments. Notice that every experience you had was in an environment. Every environment is a limitation to the all-pervading, all-knowing, omnipowerful beingness of God. Every situation, experience is a limitation. You had to limit yourself from all possibilities to be there. And unless you participate in that little sereno, you do not know that aspect of this greatness. So life is about experiencing. This service is a commitment to be. And the commitment is to be present. To be present exactly where you are at. The thinking mind identifies time and space for the purpose of making solid your individuality as a being. It is not to contemplate things out of presence. And as soon as it does, then you run into fluctuations of consciousness that take you from your center. So the objective thinking mind in its proper use centers you, because it identifies you. Here I am. It uses all that power of description to center you. Only when it's used by your awakened self. So we're making the switch in consciousness to no time, no space, and stepping in with this crystal watchfulness that now nothing is taken for granted. Just moving your hand is magical as watching a sunset. The fact that you can move your finger, the fact that you can be, that your heart pumps, everything is looked at with this wide-eyed wonder. Now, with this consciousness, we approach a deeper ability to see ourself. And the first thing that happens when you take all of your awareness and concentrate it totally within your being, and then pay attention, what's the first thing that you see? Light. When you take all your attention, all your awareness, your full consciousness of your being, concentrate it to the highest of your ability, and pay dynamic attention, you see light. And that's the step. So this training works with light, the most obvious energy, substance that's creation, is light. So we're working with understanding this light, because if it's the first thing you see, you live in it, it fills your being, your body's made up of this light energy, everything is light. Now, as you concentrate and gaze at light, you realize that that light has interdimensional qualities. And in this first class, last week, we saw how light expresses in many different dimensions. And it's these different dimensions of light that give experience its depth. And notice that you have a deepness to you, a sense of depth, a sense of presence that's kind of airy inside, but gee, you sit there and there's this spaciousness about you. But hey, you're just a physical body right here. And you're dense and hard. How come you have a sense of spaciousness? Because you're existing on more than one level. You're existing on 14 major levels of consciousness that we identify for the sense of understanding yourself. And it's this interdimensional quality of your being that's the key. Now, in order for you to experience yourself, it is because you have a point in time-space. You see, the reason why the Earth is in orbit is around the sun, a central body, a central point. And that becomes the key in this class on the path to light, to make a central point in your life. And this central point in your life is not a person, it is not an object, it is not something outer. You see, it's a purpose or a goal, which is a movement of expression. The goal is a pathway or a channeling to express. Because you may say, okay, my goal is to become a good singer, an architect, a carpenter. See, but it is not. But just that isn't it. It's not static. There's no such thing as a static goal, because there's this incredible dynamics stream of life to reach that. And even in that, there's extreme dynamics. So not talking about objects and things. I'm not talking about a goal, as a sense that is a static. It is, all goals are dynamic in their being, and they're a continual unfoldment, and they take continual consciousness even once you reach them to have them. Because you may have this goal to have this nice house. It sounds like something solid, but once you have the house, you have to keep it up, you have to pay the rent, so it's always dynamics. And when you have a central point in your life, now you have this inner stability. You can orbit and experience your being around a point. And it is this that gives you a sense of stability, a sense of well-being, see, a sense of self-worth. Because until an individual establishes a goal, purpose, or reason to be, there is no self-worth. And without self-worth, you do not have the energy to step forth and express in this around other beings, because you won't feel solid enough or strong enough to meet their other energies, and there'll always be this, gee, what will they think of me? And see, but when you have this goal, okay, my goal is to reach this, and you're just going to do it, then it gives you the energy to do it. One of the most powerful things when you meet somebody is how strong their center is. If they look like they have a strong center, you know they have a crystal purpose. They have some kind of a purpose. Now, this purpose does not necessarily have to be a high spiritual purpose, you see. Because by the very nature of having a purpose or goal, that you correlate, your consciousness correlates. Because it is what is left over, or what you have used, the consciousness that you have used to obtain something, that's the key. After your 5 years of study to get a certain degree in, and let's say horticulture or irrigation design, at the end of that 5 years, what do you have? Okay, you have knowledge, but what do you really have? You have concentration, you have determination, you have persistence, you have one-pointed awareness. You have the ability to keep your word. You have self-discipline. You have you've developed all these different qualities of being, and that is your power. See, that's what you're accumulating, is these qualities of being, and it's with them that you're okay. You see, this is a true story. There was this kingdom, and this is in Europe, and there's a rich king, and he had this big countryside and all this people, and there were rich people and there were poor people, and this when this king died, his son took over the throne, and his son was really compassionate, and he says, "This is not fair," because he used to work with his people, and he saw how they were just poor people and rich people, and he says, "Oh, when I'm king, you see, I'm going to make this even." So when he came king, he decreed that all the land was to be divided up equally, all the money equally, and of course there's a big uproar with the wealthy people, and there's great delight with the commoners, and so it was done. The money was divided up, the land was divided up, but then funny thing happened. After a couple years, you see, the wealthy landowners had the land again. The poor people were poor again. Because when you're poor physically, you have poor consciousness. The outer is just a reflection of your inner. And what you have, a rich being is rich in consciousness, in mastery, determination, goal setting. A poor person is poor in that. So what we're really dealing with is not a physical reality. We're dealing with consciousness. So you can see how we've made this shift now. We're not looking in this outer, objective, thing-orientated mind, like a typical outer mind is, mass consciousness mind. We're looking in because we know that it's the consciousness that manifests everything that a person is. See? So with this awareness, we'll be looking at what is this consciousness, so we are consciousness. The true qualities of our being are what we hold in consciousness. And the key is what you can demonstrate. That's what you have. Because we're not in some airy-fairy thing here. We're not talking about nebulous things of consciousness. We're talking about the powers of being which you can demonstrate. Because if you can't demonstrate it, you don't have it. And what happens on a person seeking the path, it tune inner to the higher realities, to creative powers, to the Master's teachings, to healing, all these great things in their inner, but nothing is ever demonstrated outer. And that is an illusion then. It's a fantasy. And then when the pressure comes on, there's doubt, there's all the questioning, and then those type of beings have to shelter themselves from the world. They can be spiritual only in their group, only in this particular place, only over here, and not anywhere. And we're keying in this path, which is the Master's path, is that you are the absolute master of yourself in all circumstances, and you have the power of what you can demonstrate. So as soon as you realize something, as soon as you learn something, some knowledge of, you seek as soon as you can to demonstrate it, to make it solid in the physical dimension in time and space. The wisdom of this consciousness is in all the major teachings, and they do this by giving a person disciplines. See, disciplines are that demonstration of principle. Every successful being, in no matter what it is, anywhere from being a doctor to a runner to a priest or a holy man, is highly disciplined. And the discipline is your demonstration as spirit animating form of your mastery over what you're experiencing through the bodies of consciousness. And without this continual demonstration, which proves to yourself that you're the master of your body, emotions, mind, see, soul knowledge, creative powers, imagination, creative energies, universal mind fields, without this continual demonstration of that, you do not have the confidence to be, to express. And within these teachings, we have a simple discipline called the Rainbow Bridge Meditation. The visualization of each color of the rainbow, and to do this twice a day or 3 times a day at a set time. And what this does, this continually doing this among many other extremely powerful things with this meditation in esoteric ways, is that you demonstrate your ability to place your body in a time and space and command your visualization, to command your concentration, command your emotions, command your attention. And that is the power. Because if you can do that for a bridge of light, you can do that to manifest your career, to manifest abundance, to manifest spirituality, to manifest anything in the universe. We're talking about this master self, which is your spirit divine, eternal, and its ability to demonstrate the light, demonstrate these inner powers. Because if you cannot demonstrate it, you don't have it. And don't ever fool yourself. Because what happens is that through the fantasies, through all that, there's a split happens, and that's what the thinking mind does. It gets off into thinking it's one thing. But see, the reality is the presence and what is going on in the presence. So here we have this magical awareness. You're the spirit self, individualized in this time and space. And life is about, from day one, of your mastery of your body, mastery of your emotions. You have set yourself aside from over 70% of humanity. Most of the beings on this planet are not consciously disciplining. Now, we're not talking about somebody that has to get up every day to do this job. And so every morning there's a little resentment, a little resistance for getting up. Oh, not another day. And TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Consciousness, see? It's like that whole thing, that continual resistance. Not that kind of, that's not discipline, that's being pushed through life. But this self-motivation, self-movement, we're talking that clear openness, no resistance. Because you have 2 choices, see. One choice is to open up and put your full being into everything you do. Your full being. You just take and open your gates like you open a valve. Just open up, and everything that you have, your talents, abilities, creative energy, enthusiasm, joy, power, will, and pour it into what you do as a clear openness. Not a mental pushing now, but a total willingness and openness of participation. You see, to your highest of sensitivity and awareness and love that you put into things. But it's not pushing people around. This is just sheer, crystal, open, earnest enthusiasm for being and attunement to perfection, to do the best that you can. And that is one of the highest paths. That's the highest path, because it will lead you to enlightenment. Any outpouring, it could be into washing dishes, but it's a total commitment to presence. And that leads to constant freedom. It's like jumping out of an airplane and not being scared and go faster. You see? But what happens with this other path is this path of resistance. The path of holding back. Okay, here's these 2 paths. First path is called the path of resistance. Okay. And in this path, it is the misunderstanding that freedom comes in not having responsibility. Okay? So I'll be free when I don't have any responsibilities. And in this path, it is a path of, as long as I have enough, the heck with other people. I'm not going to take responsibility for that because I don't want to. Because I'm free. See, I'm not going to do anything that I don't have to do. Okay, so now everything that you do is because you have to do it. You see. So when it comes to do something, it's because you have to do it. In other words, it's jamming down on you. You see, the boss is saying, "Will you get that thing done?" Somebody says, "Will you? How many times did I tell you to do that?" See, won't you listen? See? So there's always pressure on you. So all responses are done under pressure, and so there's always a resistance or resentment to everything done. And there's this illusion that freedom is not having responsibilities, and so there's this continual dreaming, continual waiting for the situation, the person, the instances where you won't have any responsibility. They can just be out of it, be out of that. So there's only toleration of jobs, toleration of people, resisting, waiting to the point where you can be free, which is not having any responsibilities. Come in, sit anywhere you'd like. So this path is like taking a car, locking the brakes, and then trying to move it. See? You ever try to help people and they're just, you give them a suggestion, you tune in what they're doing, resentment, and then you really, we want to polish your car. There's this continual resistance, resentment to everything, and it can be extremely vicious. The more you start pushing on somebody's car with their brakes locked, and they'll jump out of the car, they want to fight you. See? And you know how people are, they're defending this resistance. And now why this is there, remember, the key is they don't have a clear sense of their individuality. In other words, they don't have any goal in life. So that's why they're not rolling. That's why they're not open. There isn't the goal, the reason to be, the clarity. See, there isn't a goal because there isn't a centered, stabilized individuality. And so when you sit in your car and you don't know where to go, then you're not going to start the motor. And what the vehicles are your vehicles of consciousness, these 14 levels of your being. See, so that's what distinguishes the two. So the second path is another path now. The second path says, I take total responsibility for everything that I've done, everything that I've said, everything that I'm doing now, in every level and state of consciousness, and anybody, anything that pays attention to me or is affected by my presence, I take total responsibility for that. I am responsible to that. See? And in that total responsibility is true freedom. See? Is true freedom. Because you are response-able. You are able to respond. So there's no brakes on your car, your vehicle. You're in this crystal here now, sensitive, open awareness that is ready to be response-able. Ready to have this spontaneous giving, movement, reaction, response. Not reaction sense of unconsciousness, but right there to take an action, to respond. Now that is a quickness of movement. So you're never stuck, never defending a position, because you don't have a position. You are always open and adapting. So this vehicle's rolling. Okay? So now when something hits this vehicle, bumps into this vehicle, it doesn't have its brakes locked, so it moves right away. So when a situation comes up, something's spilled on the floor, see the person in this awareness says, oh, all right, just gets the towel up and is cleaning it up. Within seconds, it's cleaned up, it's gone, it's past that. See? That vehicle is rolling, moving, done, see? But this other person, who did this? Those people are... See, this whole big thing out. I don't believe you did this, and this whole big serena goes on, resisting reality. That's the other path. Or is there this movement? Now, this vehicle that's free to move you see, can really get moving and is propelled by the goal, by the purpose. Purpose propels your being. If you want to quicken and steppen up your life stream, just choose a purpose and put your full being in to make that a reality. Choose a goal and put everything you have, eliminate the irrelevant of everything you're paying attention to, doing in life, to make that happen. It's this consciousness where you're prepared to do whatever is necessary to make that true in time and space. Now we're talking about taking that car, dropping in the biggest motor you can, and going, you see. But that is an incredible freedom. And it's from the highest freedoms is this outpouring of yourself, this giving. And so that's the difference of the paths. So in this second path, no matter what is going on, it can be used to the advantage of you. You see. And this master consciousness is that everything is of value. There isn't one thing that is not of value to you. Every incident is of value. Now, so here's another difference. Situations come up. If you resist responding to a situation, it's called a problem. That's this left-hand path, the path of resistance. So if you resist responding, now you have a problem. Every time you resist response of your consciousness, you have created a problem. So if a person has problems, you see, they're telling you about your problems. What they're really saying is they have resistance consciousness. See? So for instance, you have this problem, I don't have enough money, you just give them $1 million. I have this problem, I got all this money, I don't know what to do with it. See? They just continue having problems. We know this person that they wanted this job. See? Didn't have a job, had a problem, and then got 3 job offers. And then had this problem, got 3 job offers, just continued to be a problem. There wasn't a break in problems. See, it's problem consciousness, resistance consciousness. So we're looking at everything is there. Now, our problems are the spice of life. See, problems are opportunities to express. Problems are God-given. And really what a problem is, when it's looked at in its truest sense, is an opportunity to experience. That's the right-hand path. Oh, good! Another opportunity for experience. Wow, I can hardly wait to pour my being into it, which I'll be doing right now, you see. There's no problems. I have 2 good friends that taught me this consciousness many years ago. They live on my brothers, see, Nick and Chris Halford. And their consciousness, the way they were brought up, and just the way they are as beings, there's no such thing as a problem. They don't have problems. And they're both in different fields of work, you know, in construction and maintenance. There aren't any problems. There's just their continual response to do whatever it takes to get the job done. It doesn't matter, flat tires, blown up engines, storms, lack of money. There isn't any problems. There's just whatever way it takes to have things done. And they're both extremely successful beings. And but successful more than monetarily, in that they're beautiful, the beauty to be around, you see? Because there's no resistance. There's no resistance. And it's this I can do consciousness. It can be done. Because I have persistence and not resistance. I can do because I have persistence, not resistance. And it's this shift. And so there's these two different movements of awareness. This resistance response consciousness, then, that's the consciousness of objects. You see, things are heavy. So it deals with objects, it deals with weight, it deals with heaviness. Oh, get out of bed in the morning. See, all this heaviness. This other consciousness, this other path is light. Everything is light, movement. There's no nothing holding back. So you have these 2 choices. You have these 2 paths. See, one's called the path of darkness. One's called the path of light. Darkness meaning continual unconsciousness. Because what has to happen for you, for an individual, to be on the path of darkness is a continual justification for this, because it is not true and right. And there's in every being that's dwelling and feeding the left-hand path of darkness, they know that's not right. They know because they're unhappy. There's no individual in resistance consciousness that's happy. Every unhappy person is resisting. And they're resisting their spirit to express in time and space and to give of their all, to help, to see. And there's no unhappy, all unhappy beings are in this level. So it's very powerful to identify the energy. That's your most powerful tool, is to say what is going on, not physically, but in consciousness. And you will never be fooled again. You see, because a person will put this outer thing on, but then, well, what's going on really within you? That's what you're looking at. And there's all kinds of telltale signs, you see. Word uses. The left-hand path uses words like can't, should, could, but, maybe, ought to be, trying. See, trying is a word of resistance. When you're trying to do something, it means that you're not doing it. I tried, and it's a trick of illusion, because it implies that you're doing something, but you didn't do it. See, so it's a way of tricking yourself and fooling yourself and others that you are not resisting. And the reason why you can get away with that is that mass consciousness has agreed to that. See, the word trying is acceptable for most people. If you tried, well, that's good enough. I mean, if you've tricked yourself or fooled yourself that you didn't put your all into it, and you're fooled pretty well, then we'll be fooled too. Because I like to fool around too like that. See, I'm not putting my whole being into life anyway, so I'll accept that you're not either. And so we'll be in misery together. See? Consciousness. So you eliminate those kind of words from your awareness. Can't, should, could, might be, could be, you know. See? What almost happened. Talk to people, gee, I almost did this. That's another fooler. Well, I almost became a doctor. See? I almost signed up. I almost went to class. Yeah, see? Well, you didn't do it. And people will give you this energy. They'll throw that in. That's a way of making themselves feel a little brighter, see, a little better than what they really are. Yeah, gee, you're talking about maybe some of your travels. And somebody says, yeah, I almost went to Switzerland last year. And you go, really? Yeah, I almost did. We got all the brochures and everything. Did you go? Well, no. But see, now they're up with you. You know, almost. That's illusion. So you watch that kind of consciousness. You stay with reality and facts. Now, another thing happens with these two paths. In this path where an individual is holding back, what happens is that because that you're not expressing yourself to the utmost of your ability, you're not earning attention from others, high quality attention. Because life, to stabilize your individuality, you need high quality attention, positive, creative, supportive attention to you. And if you're not receiving that kind of quality of attention, then your sense of growth and stability and inner okayness isn't strong. So in this left-hand path, where an individual is copping out from expressing, then they have to get this. You still need attention, no matter who you are, where you're at in consciousness. You need attention from this world and from others. So how this attention's gotten is through a whole variety of different perverted ways. You see, one of the ways is through fantasy. You see, so here's this resisting, resentful left-hand path being, and you go in, and you go to a nightclub, and there's these really good dancers and this really good band, and there's this one person that's a really good singer, and everybody's going, yay, all right, that's super good, and you're going, oh gosh, you're clapping too, but wow, look at them, Look at the attention they're getting, and there's part of you that yearns to have that kind of attention, you see. And so you say, well, they were just born with that. They were born good singers, and you justify it off. You don't realize that To be up there that night, it took years of practice. So you don't recognize that. So then you go home, and then you start to fantasize. You see yourself the singer, you see yourself people clapping at you, and then that whole sereno, then you feel okay. You've gotten this false attention through fantasy. Then that eases your pain, right? Then, see. But that's a false thing, because when pressure comes on you from the world, then you break down. Because that attention that's to stabilize and calm your presence wasn't truly earned. It came through fantasy. Anytime you use imagination to visualize yourself doing things without the intent of making it reality, it's fantasy. See? Or without a purpose for it. See? A purpose, like not a purpose of bringing attention to yourself, false attention, like a purpose of you visualize yourself, increasing your golf swing or making the baskets in basketball, or you see yourself doing things only to make that a reality in the outside world. You see? Now that's called creative imagination. But just to fantasize yourself as a guitar player, people paying attention to you, without any willingness to do that, only for the purpose of false attention, then that's fantasy. And that's where this left-hand path's beings are. The radio goes on, things go on, there's always this fantasy, you see, of consciousness, which is not reality. Now, in this right-hand path, you see, that being is strong because he's receiving or she's receiving this positive attention, but earning it earnestly, because to play that guitar, spend the hours learning the chords, the months, the years. And then when you're out there, it's good and you've earned that positive attention. See? And it's very important to realize that the quality of attention that you receive is so important. Because what will happen is if you can't get quality attention, then you'll get it in other ways, like you'll tell funny jokes, or you'll do any way to get attention. Now there's a subtle trick to steal somebody else's attention that is a radiant being. See, it's called the pedestal trick. See, here's this trick. Hey, I met this guy yesterday, and he is so incredible. He's really dynamic. He's this creative being, and I'm telling you all about this person. You're paying attention to me, right? But I'm not that. See, but you're telling about somebody else. So you're standing in between, so people see you. See, so people want to tell you all about what something happened, what somebody did, but really, what they really want is for you to pay attention to them, because their live stream, what they're doing and creating. They're not anywhere near that. Because what did you do today? Well, nothing. I was moping around the house. I was fantasizing a negative mind. Well, that doesn't seem too interesting. It's not going to get much attention, right? So you tell about TV shows, you tell about other things to bring attention to you. But you're not willing to do that. So we're tuning now to make this shift in consciousness, to select a goal, a purpose, a reason to be, and to start to pour your life stream into a direction so that you can build this self-worth, to be self-disciplined. Because without this self-discipline, you are nothing, and your consciousness is mush when the pressures come on, you see. And the pressures are interesting. They keep coming up, the challenges of life, and you need this strong stability. Realize that it doesn't matter what goal you choose. What matters is that you have a goal, a purpose, a reason to be, and are consciously taking steps forward to that, freely flowing to that. Because the qualities of being needed to obtain that goal are the same qualities that will attain any goal. If you become a master carpenter, you notice that anybody that's a master is not only a master of one thing, but of many things. If you're a master carpenter, you're just a master cook too, because you have that systematic consciousness, that the ability to pay attention. You pick up a cookbook and it just comes out perfect the first time. See? And everything you do is masterful. It's the consciousness of mastery. I was tuned to this, we had a master's class with Tat a couple years ago, our teacher, and we're tuned to that consciousness, and I realized that because I'm a master mechanic. I'm a master welder. I have these talents that I'm the master of. but they have nothing. They really have nothing to do with other things, but except what they are. So that's what I thought until I realized that mastery is mastery. So I realized that mastery is mastery. Well, after this class, we had this big party. All our uncles, and not too often we get together and say. So I had to go to this party. So I went to this party, and it was nice stuff. And in the lawn there's croquet set, and my cousins and their friends are all, they're kind of into that. It's kind of like the social thing, the croquet set, with your beer, and you get to, it's kind of like a, it's not really heavy competitive sport, but allows some kind of fun, and you can laugh, And I don't like playing games, and so my consciousness has been for years, I don't play games. So, but here, okay, they're saying, come play, and I'm saying, okay, it's not a game. See, it just is an opportunity to express. And so I said, well, I'm the master of this game. See, and I haven't played this game only a couple times in my life. I am the master of this game. I'm a master mechanic, master welder, master carpenter, master of many things. I am a master of this game because I'm a master. And so I proceeded in that consciousness to absolutely, each shot went through 2 loops. That I'm the master, just master consciousness. So that's like, I'm the master of this game. And, wow, hey, no fair, you've been playing a long time. And I get all stuff, like they play all. I haven't played this game in years. And I was a little kid, maybe 8 years old, played it once or twice. It's master self, and you carry this mastery into everything, if you have it, because you can't fake it. You can't fake mastery. You're the master or you're not. And you know how you're the master? Is when you're being masterful, which is being responsible, which is being in the moment, which is a systematic attunement, goal, direction, pouring yourself into life. Because that's what mastery is. No holds barred participant of creation. And that's this path we're tuning to open the gates of resistance so that you can be here. We'll be following a movement of consciousness. See, and it's the path to light, and there is a systematic shift of your awareness as you move in consciousness. But now, there are 4 types of beings that come to God. See, the first are the distressed. See, the second are the seekers of power and wealth. The third are the inquisitive. And the fourth are the true beings coming to know God, the true self, seekers of the God self. So there's 4 types of beings that come to God. And realize that don't wait for the first one to be in distress. You see? Because that's how a lot of people come. Be distressed, and then you come to God. Well, don't wait for that one. There's those that are seekers of power and wealth, but they're only coming to take. You see. In the distressed, you see, they're in distressed consciousness, and so they're tuning to God, but they're tuning distressed. So there's always that there. And there's always this duality of this goodness of God, but I'm distressed. And then you have that war that goes on until you transcend duality. Notice that people that are, they have to make that shift. Seekers of power and wealth. So you're tuning to this greatness only to take, you see. Then the inquisitive. Inquisitive are those that are coming to get intellectual satisfaction, but are not committed. Coming only to get intellectual satisfaction. Come to class to learn, get the words of description of meditation, but not to meditate. Not really to know God, but just because everybody's doing it, they want to have a concept, want to have a label, want to have it all figured out. See, the intellectually inquisitive, it's not prepared to do it. And then you have those that are really coming to know the self, and it's that those beings that we're attuned to, and that's where most of you are at. You're really true seekers, or you wouldn't be here. See, true seekers. You're not coming distressed. You're coming in this really to know. That's the underlying energy. And that leads you to reality. Well, there's several types of people that'll never come to the path. And those are the professed atheists, those that are caught in sensation consciousness, in physical object consciousness, those that are caught in or play games continuously, and those that do things to bring attention to themselves, to pump their ego. That they're locked into that. You know, they're until they get out of that energy, they won't come to God. They won't be reverent in the energy. Because we're talking about the light that illumines the truth of who you are. See, the path to light is the path to that essence that when you touch it, when you tune to it, it illumines you. Now let's look at the properties of light that we're tuning to, because we're tuning to light which is really consciousness. We saw last week how consciousness has equivalent vibration to light. Consciousness is life. The fact that something is alive means it's conscious. So it means it contains light, or certain vibrations of consciousness, or it's light. And so this is light, is love. Life is love. So there's no fundamental difference between love, life, light, and consciousness. They're words describing the same thing. They're the same different attributes of the same essence that we are tuning to here in this path. Now this life, light, love, consciousness has a unique quality to it in that it is because it can reflect. The only way that you know that light is, that life is, that consciousness is, that love is because it has something to reflect upon. The light between the sun and this planet Earth is clear. When you're sitting in a movie theater, there's light on the screen, but where does it come from? You see? Unless there's specks of dust up there, there's just black. It's all black, but there's light on the screen. And you look up and you can see the projector up there. So you're this crystal light. And unless you have something to reflect upon, you wouldn't even know that you are. The levels of consciousness are the platforms that allow your light to reflect. So without this physical body, your spirit, your light, your life, your love, your consciousness would not be shining. You wouldn't know of yourself as this. So it is this body that your spirit is reflecting in. So that's one of light's first principles. The second is that it cannot know of itself directly, only through this reflection. So the fact of reflection is how you come to see it. So
because now it's master of the universe, and you're a citizen of the universe as you cross this bridge, rather than a citizen of just the world. In your humanity, you are the citizen of the world. In your spirituality, you are the citizen of all creation, of the kingdom of heaven and beyond. You have no limited place. Spirit is limited.
Lessons of Light. It's about our astral physics, daily attunements. You get to have the benefit of working with the group energy. There is no power like the group. More can be accomplished with others than can be accomplished by oneself. For this reason, at a special teacher's intensive in Honolulu, Hawaii, chanting is a powerful part of the astral physics teachings. It is to clear out negatives and affirm our true nature as sons and daughters of God. Program in positive habit patterns. For the first half hour, we chanted. Then for the next half hour, we attuned to the rays of the day, Christ, the Masters, and the Archangels. Again, we affirm through the spoken word our divine heritage, through calls, decrees, affirmations, prayers, and fiats. Let us be your guest every morning. These daily attunements will change your life. To go along with these daily attunements, you'll want to have an Astral Physics Handbook. God bless you, and blessings of light.